All right, class, I'm here in lesson 3 where we've been focusing on creating a KWL chart to help us understand what we already know, what we want to learn, and how that's going to help us with this PBL project of creating an installation for the city of Zealand. So above you can see where I made the video of how to create a KWL chart using that app. And now we're going to move on and talk about the battle for Zeal. So here I have inputted our picture of our bracket for all these historical figures that we've talked about in class and that you've put into the historical figures document on Google Sheets. So we're going to use these figures in our class to have a debate and try to determine who shows the most zeal, and then potentially make a statue or monument or installation that represents that person. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to zoom in on this picture so that you can kind of see who we have represented in our class. So let me click on this picture. Let me zoom in. And I really want us to focus on this blue bracket that we have so far. So as you can see, all of these historical figures are numbered from 1 to 16 in this blue section. And some of the historical figures that we have and that we've talked about in class are the presidents like James Madison, John Adams, George Washington, people like that. And then we have some other characters or historical figures that we have talked about, but we don't really know that much about. And so this is where your job of research is going to come in. What you're going to do is, just to get us started, just to get the idea of doing research and looking for things that represent zeal, you're going to pick one historical figure from this blue bracket. It can be someone that you already know a lot of information about, or it can be someone who you heard about but you don't really have that much information on. Some of you might not know who Michael Faraday is, so you might want to research about that person. Or some of you might know that Benjamin Franklin was a founding father, but you don't know any more than that, and that's okay. So we're going to do research. So your first job is just to go through this blue bracket and then choose a historical figure that you would like to do research on. Easy as that. Okay, so what I'm going to do, I'm going to zoom out of this picture, I'm going to close out of this tab, and then I'm going to move on down to our research logs. Now, this is where you'll find our research logs, is on this checkpoint 5 is what I'm going to call it. And then you're going to click on the Immortalizing Leaders PBL group documents. So this is where you're going to find your research log. And I'm going to open it up. It'll be a PDF. All right. And it will look like this. And you're going to call this research log number 1. Okay. So let's think about that person that you selected from the blue bracket. You're going to find information about that person. Now, it can be lots of different things. It can be things that they did in their life. It can be laws that they passed, or things that they fought for, or just things that they were involved in. But I really want you to focus on those things that show zeal, because we want to create a statue or monument or installation of someone that would represent zeal and Zealand really well. Okay, so that's what I want you to be thinking about when you're doing this research. You may fill up the whole right section where it says relevant notes. You might fill that up, you might not. A good rule of thumb would probably be to fill at least half of it. If you're finding some good information, you should be able to get to at least half. Okay. What I want you to focus on now is this bottom part, is how you're going to be assessed. Okay. So we have a scale of 4, 3, 2, 1, 4 being the best. And that's really what I want all of you to strive for, is getting that 4. So you're going to have evidence from multiple sources that are reliable. Okay, so that's the area that I want you to focus on a lot, is that idea of reliable. Now, I will say, feel free to start at Wikipedia, but don't make that your only source. I know that's where a lot of you go to get information, but don't let that be your only source. Good thing that you can do when you're looking at Wikipedia is typically at the bottom of the Wikipedia page on whatever you're looking at, they will cite sources. So that's where you maybe want to go to find more information about your historical figure. Another area that you could look up is history.com. You could do biography.com. There's lots of different things that I want you to search up and find and get information on. You also want to find websites that use .org or .edu. Those ones are super credible, so be thinking about using those as well. All right, so that's how we're going to be using the research log. Now I'm going to go back to our page. Remember, you're picking people from the blue region, just one, to do our first research log on, just so I can see how you're doing the research and what kind of sources you're finding. And we want to keep it focused on the idea of zeal, right? Enthusiasm, passion, fighting for what you believe in, things like that, okay? And if you have any questions about what sources to use or what information you want to include, we can talk about that in class, or you can message me here on our Haiku page, or send me a email following the communication parameters that we have set forth in this course. All right. Thank you, and good luck researching the people that show zeal.